How are everyone of you doing? If you're looking for a location to get your cryptocurrency fix, you found a crypto blitz. I am Ripple Van Winkle, and I am the one in charge of you. May each and every one of you be having a wonderful day. Currently, it is Wednesday. This is the 3rd of April. What's more, my brother is celebrating his birthday today, wishing him a happy birthday. But are you aware of what is going to take place? Approximately 2 weeks from now, Bitcoin will be divided in half. In the case that the event is being held, what will the price be? Will we ascend once more in the future? Is it possible that we will fall once more? You will find everything you require in this episode. We will also discuss Ripple and Swift because there appears to be a document that is circulating that demonstrates how Swift is tied to RIPPLENET. Please be patient with us because we have already discussed this topic. There is only one set of banks that make up Swift. The fact that many of the banks that are a part of the Swift network are already users of Ripple and have access to a limitless amount of currency on demand is something that we are aware of. They can only put up a struggle for a limited amount of time before they are forced to give in, and I believe that is exactly what we are witnessing. Due to the fact that cryptocurrency is currently in the midst of a massive bull run that will soon send it through the ceiling, this is an excellent time for everything to take place. That number of things that you never ever imagined would take place. Without further ado, please retire to a comfortable seat and relax. We are going to invest in a Bitcoin that is valued $66,000 and $3. Over the course of the past 24 hours, it has risen by 1.06%. My goodness, it has increased by 0.5% and is currently at $3,312. The current value of USDT is exactly where he won the dollar peg, but USDCC has dropped just a little bit below, coming in at 99 cents. This is the current situation. In the past 24 hours, the value of the one and only cryptocurrency, XRP, has decreased by 6.7, bringing the total market valuation of all cryptocurrencies to $2 trillion. Listen up, the markets are in a really difficult situation right now, and the amount of money involved is 520 cents. We warned you that prices could fall into the low to mid six-figure range since there was a CME gap that hadn't been filled. This gap had previously been left unfilled. The initial dump was completed, but there is still a possibility of a push for cash between 60 and 64,000. What we are witnessing today does not indicate that we have yet emerged from the wilderness. It is still possible for us to achieve that final huge push down in order to compensate for the shortage of funding. For the same reason that a CME gap can be left behind, it is not necessary for it to be correct before we go forward to the next level. I believe that they are filled approximately 90% of the time. In spite of the fact that it had just been filled, we could still go back down one more time to make that cash grab. Prior to this thing being blasted off and going into supercycle mode, that is going to take place. Whether we continue to push ourselves to this point or whether we fill up and collect that cash at the bottom is the question that has to be answered. How can we determine whether or not we have been released from any of the aforementioned situations? $72,000 to $74,000 in total. If it is higher than that, I like to refer to it as 74K. The supercycle is operating in a manner that you have never witnessed before. Prices of Bitcoin could range from 125 to 150, but 175,000 until the year 2025, this bull run will continue. The coming year will see a significant number of people retire from cryptocurrency, and a significant number of people will become millionaires. These are incredibly exciting times, and that is exactly what we are experiencing at this present moment. On account of the fact that my Patreon post has more than 136 members, I will put this down. Back in the day, I had a great deal more members. Patreon was something I used to do back when the most recent bull run was going on. This was very similar to working a full-time job. Hold your breath and take a few steps back. Soon enough, we will take up the pace once more and enter moments of bullishness. Considering that I have already published what I hold, it is probably too late for many of you to go into what you hold at this point. That is not the case if you observe the date that I purchased all of these coins at that location was from the end of February, just one of them, and the majority of them occurred within the past week or two. The entire stuff was just purchased by me. The XRP bag and the HBAR bag that I own are not included on this list. This is over. I believe that there are 15 different cryptocurrencies included in that list, including low caps, high caps, and mid caps. It details the amount of money I invested in each one as well as the day I purchased it. That is how simple it is to use this bag. There is no doubt in my mind that it will bring me close to $1 million to $500,000 rupees. I do, in fact, out of 5 times. We have a very attractive appearance. I believe that a good number of these are selling for a great deal more than 5 times the original price. You should know that I am a fairly conservative individual, and as a result, we make predictions that are conservative. If you would want to provide me with a link to any of the following Patreon groups, please do not hesitate to do so. House owned by Brad Glinghouse, do you have the age to recall something like this? It was taken at the Paris FinTech Forum, where Brad was present alongside Gilbert Gottfried, who had previously served as Swift CEO. What Brad has to say is worth paying attention to. The GPI is a significant step forward. There was a strategy that we had devised for the operation of international correspondent banking. It was successful, but it had a great deal of shortcomings, and we are witnessing those shortcomings becoming increasingly obvious. Nevertheless, I believe that it is a step in the right direction when you go from horse and buggy to saying, hey, is it possible to make the horse and buggy go faster on the other hand? We could upgrade to a Ferrari, so let's do it on a GPI when you're ready. Is my understanding correct? It is possible to purchase a Ferrari rather than attempting to make a horse and buggy go quicker. There was a difference in the quotations he used from Amazon and Walmart. What is it that has a large number of members? AOL, according to him, did the same thing. You are really wonderful in that way, Brad. It was us. We were aware of that because Bob Way informed us that he had that encounter. You should keep in mind that Bob Way was one of the initial 7 employees at Tree. Bob Way shared his thoughts with Swift's top executives when he had that encounter with them. What steps is Ripple taking to address the issue of transferring money across international borders? It was time for SWIFT to return to the drawing board. This took place at their very own conference, which was called the Sibos Conference, and it was there that they started making plans and trying out new ways to carry out tasks. Why was it feasible to have GPI? Without the introduction of this payment plan by Ripple, SWIFT would have continued to operate in the same manner as it had been operating previously. For the past 4 decades, they have been doing this. The situation was not improving at all. They refused to provide me with GPI. To begin, what exactly is SWIFT GPI? How about you utilize it to keep track of your money? Who cares? It's still being used. It is Nostra Volsha. Who recounts the tale? Ripple has developed technologies that eliminate counterparty risk, and these tools are also available for use by banks and other financial institutions. More than $10 trillion worth of issues are resolved as a result of this. However, because demand liquidity is a digital asset, these institutions are not required to hold onto XRP if they do not like to do so. XRP can serve as a bridge between them and the network, and they can simply connect to it. This information was provided by CryptoWire, coupled with court records that indicate that the majority of Ripple's revenue is generated by the sale of XRP. In addition to these sources of revenue, cryptocurrency transactions are also included. It would be of great interest to me to acquire knowledge on the potential alterations that may be made to this. The financial institution known as HSBC has made the news that beginning in the year 2024, they would collaborate with MaidGo and Ripple in order to include a distributed ledger technology DLT into their banking operations. Consequently, this will make it possible to distribute tokens that reflect ownership of physical gold. These tokens will be distributed to individuals. After the dispute between Ripple and the SEC has been resolved, the one thing that we have not yet mentioned is the manner in which Ripple will be allowed to sell XRP to institutional customers for the first time. Due to the fact that this is the only element that we have not yet incorporated, I am able to share this information with you. Absolutely everything is a part of the bundle. It is our understanding that this is the only thing that is still outstanding, and we will make certain that it is addressed and resolved. HSBC is undoubtedly going to pursue the tokenization of a goal, which is going to be an intriguing thing to observe. This is something that will be a fascinating thing to observe. For crying out loud, guy, Robbie, who was in charge of the creation of the XRP ledger LuxLines project, elevated it to the status of the most significant project in the world. In the annals of the history of prizes, these are the most remarkable awards that have ever been given out. It would be really appreciated if you could have a look at the LuxLines NFTs that Mr. was on April 1st that he was able to successfully retrieve 5,000 XRP. At the beginning of each year on April 1st, we make XRP available to all of the people who have it in their possession. Are there any particular reasons for this to occur? We are pleased to announce that we have successfully completed the task at hand. XRP will be made available to you in the event that you are able to maintain possession of our NFTs. Even if they have seen you hundreds of times while you are busy on other activities, you have not yet seen all of these adorable tiny JPEGs. This is despite the fact that they have seen you. Within the scope of said project, there is currently no construction work being carried out. Their inability to come up with something that is especially outstanding or innovative is a great disappointment. By the end of time, it will have completely lost all of its functionality. You have been deprived of the complete quantity of XRP that you valued with your money. In contrast to that, the work that we perform here at Lux is something that is completely different from that. As we continue to construct and expand the project, you will be able to earn XRP in exchange for your NFT, and you will receive something in return for your contribution. In a situation like that, wouldn't it be the case that everyone comes out winning? You are really perceptive individuals. It would appear that a number of more recent ones have now been made accessible to the general public. In the net, the non-fungible tokens in question are more commonly referred to as Wild West non-fungible tokens.